Happy Tuesday to you. Welcome to your Tuesday Thought Twist. I, as you may already know, am your life coach, Deb Penner with Drops in the Bucket, and this is your little dose of weekly mindset magic, looking at ways that we can become aware of our thoughts, maybe make a little switch, a little twist, a little change in things so that you are better managing your beautiful human brain. So let's talk. What I want to offer you today, let's back that up just a second. What I want to offer you today is something that I offer you a lot in this space, which is a question that you can ask yourself. So part of the purpose of these little Tuesday talks is that your brain is constantly running a narrative. So there's always this soundtrack going on behind the screen here, right? And if you're not listening, like consciously listening to the soundtrack, you are always listening. And there is this inherent tendency to just assume that whatever is playing on the brain soundtrack is factual. But it's not. So your brain will tell you a lot of things that are not necessarily true. Your brain will also give you a lot of clues to the belief systems that you are operating within, which may or may not be supporting you in the life that you want to be living. So one of the ways that we become aware of what's on the soundtrack and we learn to test how factual it actually is by learning to ask great questions about your thoughts. So that's what I want to bring you today is a question. So when I was a little girl, my daddy taught me, very little, taught me all about that quintessential bumper sticker, question authority. And what I took away from that, I can't speak to what my dad was actually trying to teach me, but what I took away from that was not the idea that authority is bad or that we need to rebel or you shouldn't follow the rules or any of that jazz. What I took away from it was it's really important to ask on whose authority. In other words, who says? Who says this is the best way to do things? Who says this is right and that is wrong? And do I want to recognize that individual or institution's authority in this instance? So that's the definition of question authority that I grew up with. Like, who says? And do I, as a free-thinking, free-willed individual, want to accept that? So this is the game we're going to play with your brain this week. We're going to play Who Says. We're going to play Question the Authority of Your Brain. And in particular, I want to encourage you to play this game with your brain when your brain is telling you you're not enough. Good morning, Rosemary. I'm glad you're here. So I don't belong here. Oh my God, I don't belong here. There's no one here who looks like me. There's no one here who talks like me. There's no one here of my faith. There is no one here of my skin color. There's no one here of my gender. So I don't belong here. That's one thing your brain might say that I want you to question the authority of. Another twist on that is I don't belong here because I'm not smart enough. I'm not educated enough. I'm not experienced enough. Ooh, I don't meet the requirements to be here. Who says? When you catch your brain telling you that you're not enough for any situation, professional, personal, spiritual, financial, I'm encouraging you this week to stop and say, who says? Who said that about me? Who says I don't belong in this space? Who says I'm not educated enough? Who says I'm not qualified? Who says I'm not smart enough? Who says that this is not my space? And when you ask that question, you're going to get one of two answers. The first one is, no one. No one said that. Okay? This is one of those great examples of when your brain is just making things up. So that was just something that your brain made up, that you don't belong here. Ah, okay, good to know. No one ever said that. So maybe it's not true. But sometimes when you ask that question, you will find out that someone did tell you that. Maybe a parent or another role model, another adult leader figure in your life when you were a child told you that. Maybe somewhere along the way, a teacher or a figure in your church or religious institution or a boss told you that you're not enough, you're not smart enough, you're not qualified enough, you're not educated enough. Not in a like, hey, we'd love you to have this position, but it does require a degree. Let's talk about how we can get you into a degree program kind of way, but in a, you don't have the qualifications kind of way, right? So maybe somewhere along the line, somebody actually did tell you that you don't belong in this space. And now you've created a belief structure in response to that. A belief structure that's probably holding you back. So now you know, here is a place where there's room for work and healing. Question authority, my friends. Who says that this thing that my brain has to say is true? Get your answer, and that's going to give you some information that you can use to change your mindset so that you feel like you belong in any space, on any stage, at any level of income, in any relationship, accomplishing any goal. Have a fantastic week, and I'll see you next Tuesday.